In this video, we'll explore COBOL file status codes, their meaning, when they occur, and how to fix them. These codes are essential for error handling in COBOL programs. On this screen, we see some of the most common COBOL file status codes. Status code 00 indicates successful completion. Any file operation such as open, read, write, rewrite, delete, or close has finished without errors, and no corrective action is required. Status code 02 highlights a duplicate key condition or a read of the next higher record in indexed files. In this case, the program should handle duplicates gracefully or continue reading. Status code 04 points to a length mismatch or a short record. This typically happens during a read when the record returned is shorter than expected. The solution is to verify the file description and redefine the record length if required. And status code 05 refers to an optional file that is not present. This means the file was declared optional but does not physically exist at the time of opening. The corrective action here is to ensure that your program logic correctly handles missing optional files. These codes form the foundation for error handling in COBOL file operations. Asterisk, on this screen, we continue with more COBOL file status codes. Status code 07 refers to a real or unit error. This occurs when an open or close statement is used incorrectly with the real or unit phrase on a device that does not support it. The solution is to remove the clause or make sure the medium actually supports reals or units. Status code 10 represents end of file. This means there are no more records to read and the logical end of the file has been reached. The corrective action is to stop the reading loop or close the file gracefully. Status code 14 indicates that the relative record number is too large. In other words, the key value specified is greater than the file's defined capacity. To fix this, check and adjust the size of the relative key field and its value. And finally, status code 21 signals a boundary violation. This happens when a record being written has a length different than what the file definition allows, or when an attempt is made to write beyond boundaries. The corrective action is to check the record definitions and ensure the lengths are consistent. Each of these codes helps COBOL programs handle file I/O errors in a controlled way. Asterisk, on this screen, we have more COBOL file status codes. Status code 22 represents a duplicate key error. This happens when a program tries to write a record with a key that already exists in a file where duplicates are not allowed. The solution is to make sure primary keys are unique before writing. Status code 23 means the record was not found. This occurs when the specified key does not exist in the file. To correct this, add proper, not found, handling logic in the program and verify the search keys. Status code 30 signals a permanent input or output error. This is usually caused by a system-level failure such as disk corruption or a hardware problem. The corrective action is to investigate system logs and fix the underlying storage or operating system issue. Status code 34 indicates a boundary violation for relative or indexed files. This means the relative record number is outside the defined range. The fix is to adjust relative keys and ensure the record position is within range. Finally, status code 35 means the file was not found. This happens when a program tries to open a file for input or I/O, but the dataset does not exist. The solution is to ensure the file is created or available before opening. Together, these codes guide programmers in handling key errors, missing records, and file-related problems. On this screen, we look at more COBOL file status codes. Status code 37 indicates an open mode conflict. This happens when a file is opened with an incorrect access mode compared to its FD declaration. For example, a sequential file is opened for random access. The solution is to correct the mode in the program or redefine the file in the FD. Status code 39 shows a mismatch between the COBOL program's file description and the dataset attributes defined in JCL or the catalog. This often happens due to differences in block size or record length. The fix is to align the COBOL FD with the JCL or dataset attributes. Status code 41 occurs when a file is already open and another attempt is made to open it again. The corrective action is simple: close the file before reopening, or avoid duplicate open statements. Finally, status code 42 means a file is not open. This error happens when a program tries to perform an operation like close, read, write, rewrite, or delete on a file that has not been opened. The solution is to ensure the file is properly opened before performing the operation. These codes help programmers handle access mode errors and file state problems effectively. On this screen, let's look at some more COBOL file status codes. Status code 46 means a sequential read is not allowed. This happens if a program tries to perform a sequential read on a file that has not been opened for input or is not positioned correctly. The corrective action is to ensure the file is opened for sequential access and positioned properly. Status code 90 represents a generic runtime error that is not covered by other status codes. This could point to a configuration problem or an issue in the runtime environment. The corrective step is to check runtime documentation and review system logs. Status code 91 indicates a password failure or an authorization issue. This occurs when access to a file is denied because of an invalid password or missing authorization. The solution is to provide the correct password or adjust access rights. Finally, status code 92 signals a logic error. This means the operation is not valid for the file organization. For example, trying to perform a random read on a sequential file. The fix is to check the program logic and correct the access mode. Each of these codes helps identify logical and security-related problems in COBOL file handling. On this final screen, we cover the last set of COBOL file status codes. Status code 93 means the resource is not available. This happens when a resource is busy or unavailable. The corrective action is to retry later or free the resource. Status code 94 refers to a record lock. This occurs when another program or user has locked the record. The solution is to implement retry logic or wait until the record becomes available. Status code 96 indicates a locking or sharing conflict. This results from an invalid combination of record or file locking specified in the program compared to the actual request. The fix is to check the file control block and correct the locking strategy. Status code 97 signals a file integrity problem. This usually means corruption detected by the runtime, for example issues in a VSAM structure. The corrective action is to restore the file from a backup or repair the file structure. Status code 98 means a file attribute conflict. This happens when the COBOL program's file description does not match the catalog or dataset attributes such as record length or organization. The solution is to ensure the FD matches the catalog definition. Finally, status code 99 represents a severe internal file system error. This is a critical runtime error and may require vendor support. The corrective step is to review system logs, analyze the issue, and escalate if necessary. These closing codes highlight advanced file handling and system-level issues, completing our overview of COBOL file status codes. That completes our overview of COBOL file status codes from 00 to 99. With these in hand, you can debug programs more effectively and build reliable applications. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more COBOL tutorials.